Chapter 1, Mark Spencer. Vermilion Bird Continent, Imperial City of Phoenix Empire. The city is bustling with people roaming on the streets, especially in the commercial district of Hangar. Thousands of visitors from other empires and kingdoms flock towards this popular area every day. The majority of them either come here to eat the food made by divine chefs or get a nice weapon from the weapon stores. While the food business was always booming with customers every day, the weapon stores, on the other hand, were struggling with the competition. It's because 70% of the customers were always taken by the big three stores. First is the Everlasting Weapon Store, which was owned by a business tycoon who has the backing of Swordmasters Guild. Second is Lunaris, which was backed by an elder of Phoenix Empire Magicians Guild. The third and final is the Hollow Weapon Store that belongs to the Vice Guildmaster of the Archers Guild branch of the Empire. Over the years, as they accumulated millions of spirit crystals, these three weapon stores developed branches in almost every kingdom that belongs to the Phoenix Empire. At one of the small alleys of the district, there's a small weapon store which almost had the same condition as other small stores. An old man dragged the chair out and sits outside to bask in sunlight as it was too cold inside the store. As his neighbors don't seem to have any customers, a couple of them also joined him to talk about their lives, their children's lives, etc. A tall, handsome-looking young man in his mid-20s who seemed like he was passing by while looking left and right, stopped in his tracks. Looking at the signboard and the paper in his hands, a smile appeared on his face. Here it is. He then saw a couple of old men talking to each other. He called him out. "Excuse me, is the owner of this store inside?" The old man, who was busy chatting with his neighbor, stopped talking as soon as he heard the young man. He thought he was a customer. "It is me. Please, come in." The young man was led into the store. He looked around. There he saw various types of weapons were hanging on the walls. Suddenly, a particular staff that was placed on the wall behind the counter attracted his attention. He immediately walked towards it. His eyes lit up. This is one fine material. A combination of rosewood and hazelwood in 3:2 ratios. That's rare. Oh! Grade 7 Midnight Wolf's Blood is the catalyst? That means it will give a mage tremendous strength if he were to engage in a battle after sunset. Worthy of its gold grade. How? How did you know this? The old man was taken aback. Except for himself, no one knows that the Midnight Wolf's Blood was used as a catalyst during its creation. Its grade was even more of a secret as he was worried that it will only bring harm to his store and himself. And the fact that this young man was able to tell its composition just by a look shocked him even more. Him clearing his throat, the old man said, "That's our family heirloom, not for sale. Don't worry. I can't use this even if I wanted to." The young man waved his hands while maintaining a smile. "I don't possess ether particles." "Ah." The old man was once again taken aback as he heard him. He fell into confusion even more. If this guy is just a civilian, how come he was able to appraise a gold-grade weapon? "Young man, would you like to see ungraded weapons?" Ungraded weapons are those that were used mostly by mortals who were born without ether, a particle in the body that will grant people certain skills as well as create a way to increase their lifespan. As for graded weapons, they will start from iron, then bronze, silver, gold, and finally platinum. Above platinum, there are semi-divine and divine grades, but they are only available to the top experts around the world. So, a gold-grade weapon is indeed a fortune for most of the spirit warriors whatever path they have chosen. The old man certainly became worried upon hearing this customer's analysis. It was only after he realized this guy is a civilian, did he sigh in relief. But still, his wariness didn't disappear. He wanted to know whether he's really a customer that happened to pass by or a spy sent by someone. So, he prepared to show him all the collections of ungraded weapons that he stored. If he is a spy or someone with a motive, surely, he would get irritated by checking out several weapons that are trash in the eyes of higher-rank spirit warriors. However, to his surprise, the young man gave an unexpected reply, "I would like to buy your store, owner Yang." He then showed the newspaper where he put an ad selling the store for 1,000 gold coins. The ad mentioned that the weapons in the store are included, but since you said it is a family heirloom, I have no objection if you want to take it away. "Eh? You want to buy my store?" The old man was really surprised that someone accepted the offer. If that young man wouldn't have said that he can take the staff with him, he would have suspected it is because of the staff. After all, the starting price of a gold-grade weapon is at least 500 gold coins, which is enough for a normal person to live his whole life if he goes and lives in a town. Still, because of his wariness, the old man decided to leave the city with the money and the heirloom right away, to go back to the village where his son and daughter-in-law are staying. As the old man agreed, he immediately brought the documents of the land and handed them over to the smiling young man while the latter took a bag of gold coins out of thin air, scaring the hell out of the old man as normal people without ether can't do that. But he didn't ask for the reason and quietly took the money. After counting the gold coins, the old man took the midnight wolf staff and left the place after saying goodbyes to his neighbors. While neighbors became curious about the new owner, the young man closed down the shutter. His face turned cold as he spoke. System, show character menu. Suddenly, a holographic screen appeared before him. Name, Lu Zhen, Mark Spencer. Strength, 0.3. Intelligence, 0.7. Defense, 0.2. Agility, 0.1. Vitality, 0.8. Resistance, 0.1. Charisma, 6.8. Bloodline, not applicable. Attribute, not applicable. Spirit path, not applicable. Ether quality, nil. Ether energy, 0. Rank, not applicable. Skills, not applicable. Lifespan limit, 80, 55 years left. Quests. Main quest, acquire a weapon store, completed. Reward, weapon creation. Click to receive the reward. Side quest 1. Earn 100 gold coins from selling the weapons, in progress. Reward, System Store. Chapter 2, Starter Pack. Mark Spencer is once a century genius military weapon designer who was well sought by the generals of the Army, Navy, and the Air Force or his country. From machine guns to missiles, submarines to aircraft, he was known to design unique and futuristic weapons. One day, he was contacted by the world's biggest mafia group to be their weapon designer for a hefty salary. However, he refused their offer, which resulted in his kidnapping during his holiday stay outside the country, despite the heavy security. For 5 long years, they kept him on an isolated island and forced him to make weapons for them, until one day, he somehow managed to escape from the island and contacted his friends from the army. But who could have expected that he will be betrayed by his trusted comrades as the higher-ups were in suspicion of his defection? In a desperate struggle, Mark jumped into the ocean, but because of heavy wounds, he wasn't able to swim and slowly drowned. An unknown amount of time later, he opened his eyes only to find his soul transmigrate into a world of magic, where the original owner named Lu Zhen, who was born as a prince of the Phoenix Empire. However, due to his inability to gather ether energy in his body, he was switched with a servant's baby by his biological mother without the knowledge of his father, the emperor. Despite facing such an unfortunate incident at birth, Lu Zhen grew up happily as the son of a village chief until one night, his foster parents get killed by a burglar, leaving the fate of a 20-year-old prince in the hands of his father's best friend who took him in and let him work in his weapons store as the manager, located in a nearby town. 5 more years later, while he was sleeping, his soul suddenly gets attacked by a soul from another world. As a result, his weak soul was crushed and absorbed by the other soul, thereby occupying his body. The moment Mark opened his eyes, along with the memories of the previous host, he also found a mysterious weapon system that appeared in his brain. And the first thing the system asked him to take over was a weapon store to activate the weapon creation. After resigning from his previous job of being a manager at a store, he waited for 2 weeks to understand the system as well as to stabilize his mental condition. With his parents dead, Mark immediately put his property for sale and cashed out all the money before setting off to the Imperial City. After buying a seemingly normal weapon store, he immediately closed off the shutter and clicked on the quest reward to activate it. Ding! You activated the weapon creation. Ding! You received a starter pack. Please check your inventory. Ding! You received a new quest. Please check the quest list for details. Mark then opened the inventory with which he was familiar. Like in the games of the modern world, there were 500 slots in it, of which a few of them are occupied by clothes, pouches full of gold, and a few other useful commodities. Except for those items, There's an image of a gift pack that wasn't present before. He clicked on it. A blinding light flashed before him before the system voice sounded in his head. Ding! You received a signboard. Please check out the inventory. Ding! You received an Android assistant. Ding! Single-shot pistol is unlocked. Please check out the gallery for details. Ding! Bullet is unlocked. Please check out the gallery for details. Suddenly, a familiar blinding flash occurred before his eyes and a perfectly built handsome-looking young man appeared. Ding! Please name the assistant. If not for the notification that said the word Android, Mark would have thought he's a real person. He was indeed surprised by the system's generosity. Upon remembering his younger brother, Mark named his assistant Alan Spencer. As soon as his naming was completed, the android came to life and greeted him with a bow. Greetings, Master. I gave you the name of my sibling. So, you can address me as Big Brother or Big Bro from now onwards. As you wish, Big Brother. The android saluted him. Mark inspected him as he did with the staff earlier. The details appeared. Name, Alan Spencer. Spirit path, fighter. Rank, 4 circle, intermediate. Skills. Active. Laser eyes, shoot laser from his eyes and cause heavy damage to the opponent. Incineration, shoot powerful blasts of fire from his palms. Lightning fist, punch the enemies and paralyzes them with an electrical shock. Passive. Battle craze, able to fight non-stop while absorbing solar energy. The system indeed sent a useful one to protect me. However, his rank is too low. Ding! Please earn credits to upgrade its strength. As if it read his thoughts, the system immediately sent him a reminder. Clearing his throat, he changed the topic. System, open gallery. A holographic screen appeared before him that was full of hundreds of images being grayed out. It was something he saw before. So, he didn't pay attention to them and clicked on one of the images that looked like it was available. The details appeared. 9mm bullet. Grade, not applicable. Price, 20 silver coins. 20 silver coins per bullet. So expensive. If even the price of a bullet is this high, I wonder about the price of the pistol. Mark proceeds to click on the second available image. Single-shot pistol. Grade, not applicable. Effect, a pistol with a single round of ammunition. Must be reloaded after each shot. Capable of inflicting heavy damage on a mortal. Damage decreases as the strength of spirit warriors increases. Range, 10 meters. Price, 5 gold coins. I should sell this one for 5 gold coins? System, isn't the price too high? It's an ungraded item and needed to be filled with bullets every time. Mark can't help but complain. Even for the people living in a city, 5 gold coins are enough for a common man to eat his fill 3 times a day for at least 3 months. With 5 gold coins, people can afford to rent a house with 3 rooms for 1 month. With 5 gold coins, one can even buy 10 ungraded weapons from other cheaper stores. So, he wondered whether people would even care to buy them. In response to his complaint, the system sent him another reminder. Ding! The rarer the object is, the more valuable it is. The prices set by the system are always fair. Well, can't do anything about it if the system is adamant on its decision. After buying this store, I'm still left with 300 gold coins. I can at least live for 2 years without any problems. So, there's enough time to sell the weapons. He then opened the quest list to see the new quest. Main quest, sell your first weapon provided by the system, in progress. Reward, dismantling skill. Dismantling skill? What is it? Mark asked the system. Ding! You can select any object that you own and select dismantle. The object will be converted into credits according to its quality. Oh, that's useful. Mark immediately eyed the weapons displayed on the wall. He then opened the gallery once again and clicked on the pistol. Create. A sole option appeared before him. He clicked on it. Please select the number. Since he only needed to sell one to complete the main quest, he selected only one. Ding! Single-shot pistol has been created. Please check your inventory. Mark opened the inventory. There, he saw a pistol image. He took it out and looked at it carefully. His eyes lit up. This feels nice in hands. Just as he was about to close the inventory, Mark's eyes captured an empty board in the inventory. Ah, that's right. I almost forgot about the signboard. He clicked on it. Ding. Would you change the name of the store or keep it? Of course, I will change it. Ding. Please name your store. Genesis. He named the weapon store with the same name as his code name from the past life. A signboard with a name appeared on the floor as his hands are full. Okay, we are all set. Now, it's time to open the store. Chapter 3.1, First Sale, Part 1. It was evening. A crescent moon was accompanied by a few stars in the skies of Imperial City. Meanwhile, in one of the streets of the Hangar District, a couple of young age is traveling in a carriage vehicle with several shopping bags. Upon spotting at the carriage, the civilians walking nearby hurriedly moved aside to clear the way. It's not the carriage or the couple they feared. More exactly, it's the wolves that are pulling it. And they aren't normal wolves either. These people with lower ranks only found them terrifying and didn't know that they were of rank 4. If they knew, instead of giving the way, they would have started running away from them. Like spirit warriors, ranked beasts can use ether and have skills too. On the same level, they are stronger than humans of the same level. So, to tackle such beasts, unless they are of 5 circle or above, going against them is just foolishness. To own such beasts, the couple indeed has a wealthy or powerful background. Stop! The young lady suddenly yelled just as the carriage was about to enter another street. She started to stare through the window. What happened? The man asked her. Dear, look at that. She pointed at a certain glowing signboard. As the man looked in the direction her finger is pointing at, he saw a signboard that was glowing brightly in the dim-lit neighborhood. The most eye-catching part is the store name written on the signboard, which has 7 different colors from red on the top to violet on the bottom. Genesis? Never heard of it. And what's that? He concentrated on the strange symbol that was drawn below the word. It was the symbol of 2 handguns in a cross shape. However, he never saw that symbol previously. In a normal situation, he wouldn't go to such a poor neighborhood, but those neon lights really intrigued his fiancée. Driver, go there. The carriage changed its lane and slowly went towards the destination. The young noble then asked the driver to check out what kind of store it is. Following his employer's orders, the carriage driver stepped down from his seat and walked into the store. Within no time, he returned to the carriage and informed them that it is a weapon store. The young nobleman frowned as he heard it. My beloved, I bet this signboard was just a trick to attract customers. What can this normal weapon store of a shabby street offer us? Let's leave. As soon as he heard that it is a weapon store, the young nobleman lost interest in it. At first, the young lady thought he was right, but then, as her eyes wandered at the signboard once again, she doesn't know why but she felt like she was drawn to it. Dear, I'm dying with curiosity here. Just once. Let's see what kind of weapons they sell. Who knows what kind of fortuitous encounter we will have. Since she was adamant about entering the store, the young nobleman thought of fulfilling her small wish. After all, it isn't a big deal. Both of them stepped down from the carriage and walked into the store. As soon as he stepped inside, they saw a handsome-looking young man was standing nearby the table like a puppet without any expression, while an equally attractive young man was lying his head on the counter. Big brother, there's a customer. The android woke up his boss. Mark raised his head and looked at the couple. The guy was a tall and slim young man, not particularly attractive, wearing a colorful long robe, carrying a paper fan. On the other hand, the girl was very beautiful to the extent that even the veil that was covering the part of her face couldn't hide it. However, neither of them grabbed his attention. What grabbed his attention was their clothing, which appeared high-end. Even though there are no brands in this world to determine their value, he could still see the details of their fabric with the passive inspection skill. Silk was even more expensive in this world, which made him think that this couple might be rich. Welcome to Genesis. May I know what are you looking for? Mark was quick to stand up on his feet and a bright smile appeared on his face. The young nobleman walked around and inspected the weapons on the display. His expression changed right away as soon as he closely looked at the first one. Trash. Trash, trash, trash. The more he observed those weapons, the more he felt disgusted. Mark, on the other hand, was calm on the surface, as even he didn't think highly of them. He wanted to dismantle them the moment he acquired the skill. My previous statement was right. This shop is nothing but trash. Let's leave. Without talking to neither Mark nor the android, he directly criticized the shop while talking to his fiancée. It irked Mark a bit. But he took a deep breath and stayed calm. Excuse me. Instead of responding to her fiancé, the young lady turned towards the counter and looked at Mark. Do you have any other weapons other than these? Yes. Mark nodded in response while continuing to maintain his usual fake bright smile. There's a special weapon that was only sold this shop in this whole empire. Would you like to see it? He then proceeded to take out a box from one of the drawers. Special weapon? While the young lady seemed to be interested in that box, her fiancé didn't think much of it. Still, he walked towards the counter to see what kind of unique weapon is that it can't be sold anywhere else. As Mark opened the box, he revealed a silver-colored pistol with a wooden handle. A few 9mm bullets are lying beside it. Both of them were instantly taken aback. Indeed, it was unique. They have never seen this kind of weapon. The lady suddenly remembered something and said, "This looks a bit similar to the drawing on the signboard." Chapter 4.2, First Sale, Part 2. Yes, this is called pistol. Mark raised it and explained the parts to his beloved rich customers. This is a ranged ungraded weapon and these are bullets. After loading a bullet, you can shoot a target that's 10 meters away from you. Oh, 10 meters? The young lady's eyes lit up. I want this. Just then, her fiancé folds his hands to the back and said, "This weapon is indeed unlike any other thing I have ever seen. However, it is still ungraded. What is the use? And I also have suspicions that a tiny metal thing, what it is called again, yes, bullet, can inflict any damage. If that is the case, I can just keep it as a decoration. I can show it off to my friends." While the nobleman doesn't seem that interested as it has zero practical use for someone like him, the young lady on the other hand seemed like she was fond of its appearance and insisted on buying. Sight fine, as long as you are happy. Not intending to quarrel with her, he decided to buy it. It's not like he lacks money anyway. Looking at Mark, the young man put his hands on the pistol and said, "I'm buying this pistol and rest of those bullets." "How much is it?" 5 gold coins for the pistol, 120 silver coins for 6 bullets. A total of 6 gold coins and 20 silver coins, please. Mark's smile was never brighter as there wasn't a single sale for the past week and now, it looked like he struck the jackpot. However, in the next second, he realized that he counted the chickens too soon. "You dare to try to scam us?" Suddenly, the young nobleman was enraged and raised his fist. "Are you courting death?" Mark saw a thin strand of red energy around the fist. It was the ether energy present in elite individuals of this world. However, strangely, his smile never disappeared on his face, and neither there's a look of surprise about his behavior. Mark just stood in his place as before. Just as the fist was about to land on the table, suddenly, his arm was caught by a hand. The eyes of the couples land on the handsome figure before them. "Customer doesn't have the authority to damage store's property," Alan announced without any expression on his face and released his hand. The couple was surprised to see that a 3-circle warrior like him was stopped by this shop assistant. Being in the 3rd realm isn't anything to be proud of. Still, they didn't expect a higher realm expert is working in such a small weapon store as an assistant. Maintaining a bright smile on his face, Mark then spoke, "If you cannot afford the item, you are free to leave the shop, but don't accuse us of cheating, Mr. Customer. You might not find this weapon anywhere else in this empire and rare ones are often more expensive than common items. Moreover, you can kill a mortal with this. Even if someone is a 1-circle fighter, he will still be heavily injured by this small bullet." Upon hearing the explanation of the shop owner, the nobleman turned his attention towards Mark. "Did you say that this can deal heavy damage to even a 1-circle fighter?" Looking at how the customer was calmed down, Mark inwardly sighed in relief and nodded in response, "Yes. If it is from weak physical strength paths like mage or archer, even 2-circle spirit warriors can be injured as long as the bullet hit the vitals." The nobleman's eyebrows were raised. An ungraded weapon can injure even 2-circle mags. He felt the shop owner was boasting too much. But this time, he didn't lose his cool because of the presence of the android who stopped his fist without the use of ether energy. That itself tells him that he couldn't underestimate this shop assistant. However, at the same time, he couldn't turn his attitude after undermining everything. He has to protect his own pride. Glancing at the strand-shaped weapon in the hands of Mark, the nobleman said in a serious tone as he placed 7 gold coins on the counter, "Fine. I'll buy it. However, I need to see its power with my own eyes." He then raised the fan in his hand. "This is a copper-graded item. Shoot at this. If what you said is true, then it should leave a dent in it. However, if it really turned out to be an empty talk, you should be ready to face consec." Bang! Without any warning, Mark loaded the bullet in a flash and shot accurately at the center of the fan. Kia! The loud sound from the pistol startled the young lady. Meanwhile, the nobleman was taken aback by Mark's sudden action, even more so with the bullet making a hole through the fan. "So, how is it?" Mark looked at him for an answer. He wondered whether this rich fellow will feign ignorance and defame him again or will accept the truth. Thankfully, the nobleman didn't turn out to be an arrogant young master who looks down on everyone unnecessarily and develops a grudge for every little thing. "I take it." Without wasting any words, the nobleman nodded. After explaining how to load a bullet and shoot, he put back the gun and the bullet into the box. "Here." Mark's smile was no longer a fake. It was a genuine one as he officially started his business in this world. However, the moment he handed over the remaining excess gold coin in the box, a series of notification bells rang in his head and drained away all the happiness he got from this transaction. Ding! 1 single-shot pistol has been sold. 4 gold 50 silver coins have been deducted. Ding! 6 9mm bullets have been sold. 1 gold 8 silver coins have been deducted. Ding! You completed the main quest. Check the quest tab to receive the reward. As a person who went through so much during his 5 years imprisonment on that private island, Mark still managed to keep his emotions under control and maintain his smile. "Please come again." After sending away the couple, Mark returned to his seat and opened the quest list. Even though he was dissatisfied with how 90% of his earnings have been taken away by the system, still, he looked forward to the new quest. Only with quests, the system's functions will be unlocked one by one and he will get to survive in this world where strength matters the most. Main quest: sell your first weapon provided by the system. Completed. Reward: dismantling skill. Click to receive the reward. Ding! You received dismantling skill. Ding! The skill tab has been added to the character. Ding! You received a new quest. Please check your quest list for details. Ding! You received a new side quest. Please check your quest list for details. Without waiting any longer, Mark opened the quest list once again. Main quest: sell 100 single-shot pistols, in progress 1%. Reward: single-shot firearms unlock. Side quest: 1 earn 100 gold coins from selling the weapons, in progress 6%. Reward: system store. Side quest: 2 sell 10 single-shot pistols. Reward: revolver. Chapter 5: Exchange rates. Skills. Dismantling. Dismantle any object that belongs to the host and exchange it in equivalent credits. Cost: 0 ether energy points. CD: 0 seconds. Finally, I got the chance to scrap away these weapons. Mark then ordered the android assistant to gather all the displayed weapons and also the ones in the storage. Meanwhile, he went ahead and closed down the shutter. Soon, a small heap of various weapons and armors formed in the middle of the store. Once again, opening the skill tab, he clicked on the skill. A new window opened on the holographic screen before him. There's a circle with some mystic symbols around it. Below it, there's a word dismantle which was grayed out. Mark wondered whether he should place the weapon inside it. He took a sword from the heap. Just as it touched the new window, the sword disappeared from his hand and its image appeared in the circle and the word dismantle now glowed. He touched it. A system warning appeared before him. Ding! The item will disappear forever and cannot be retrieved. Proceed? Mark clicked on yes. A ray of light was blasted by the mystic symbols at the sword before it glowed brightly for a second and disappearing. Ding! You dismantled a nameless sword. You received 0 credits. What the? The system's notification surprised him as he didn't expect it is for nothing. System, what is the meaning of this? Mark immediately questioned the system. Ding! Ungraded weapons are considered trash and aren't worth a credit. Please dismantle some better weapons if you need credits. You should have told me that beforehand, Mark commented with a disapproving tone. If he would have sold it to a customer, he would have at least pocketed a few silver coins. Even if he didn't think much of silver coins, still, something is better than nothing, right? So, he asked for compensation to test the waters. However, the system was adamant and countered his statement in return. Ding! The host should have asked about it beforehand. This system cannot pay the compensation for the host's mistake. Him? I see. From this small conversation, Mark at least understood that the system can hand out compensation if the mistake lies on its side. He thought of looking for loopholes in the future. Putting aside the matter, he asked, okay. Answer me, then. What is the exchange rate? Ding! Copper-graded equipment is worth 1 to 5 credits. Silver-graded equipment is worth 10 to 50 credits. Gold-graded equipment is worth 100 to 500 credits. Platinum-graded equipment is worth 1k to 5k credits. Diamond-graded equipment is worth 10k to 50k credits. Crystal-graded equipment is worth 100k to 500k credits. Ruby-graded equipment is worth 1m 5m credits. Mithril-graded equipment is worth 10m 50m credits. Celestial-graded equipment worth 100m 500m credits. God-graded equipment worth 1b 5b credits. As the system have a lengthy list of exchange rates, Mark went into a daze. As far as his knowledge about this world is concerned, he only knows the existence of platinum-grade weapons. Only now, he understood that there's a big list even after that. Remembering how the previous shopkeeper was so protective of a mere gold-grade weapon, Mark couldn't help but burst into laughter. Alan tilted his head in confusion. He didn't know what's going on with this master of his. What Mark doesn't know is that this long list wasn't as complicated as he thought. Diamond-graded to ruby-graded weapons were grouped as semi-divine weapons in this world from low to high respectively. As for mithril-graded to god-graded weapons, they are called divine weapons from low to high respectively. Only powerful royal families and sects have their possession. The civilians like Lu Zhen alias Mark don't even know their existence. Anyway, let's continue. There are a lot of them to dismantle. Shrugging his shoulders, Mark continued with dismantling one by one. It took 3 hours to dismantle all 445 pieces of equipment, earning him a meager 687 credits in total. As the credits weren't of any use, for now, he closed down the screen and left upstairs. Even though this world wasn't advanced enough to have things like a refrigerator, thankfully, Mark had the inventory to store down the food where it will never get expired. So, he took out the leftover rice from the system inventory and made a bowl of quick egg-fried rice to fill his stomach. After having his quick dinner, Mark went to sleep right away. Meanwhile, Alan, the android assistant, sat down in the living room to protect his master from possible danger. The next morning, Mark came downstairs with his assistant waiting for him after his cleaning was done. His eyes wandered around the place. Ah, that's right. I dismantled the weapons. Okay, let's do this. Ding! You created single-shot pistol. Ding! You created single-shot pistol. Ding! You created single-shot pistol. After creating roughly around 20 of them, he ordered the android to place them on the shelves on the wall. As Alan gets to work, Mark then proceeded to create 9mm bullets. He doesn't know how many times he created, but he believed the number was over 100. He placed all of them into a box, which in turn was kept in one of the drawers of the counter. Now, we are set. Alan, open the shutter. Meanwhile, at the Song Manor. Bang! A loud bullet sound was heard for the 4th consecutive time through the compound as Song Yu pressed the trigger with a smile on her face. With a couple of maids standing behind her, she tried shooting at the vase placed 10 meters away from her. The first time, the bullet shot another vase that was located a few meters away from her target. The second time, the bullet shot nearby the gardener's foot, scaring the hell out of him. Decreasing the distance to 5 meters, as she tried again, this time, the vase was successfully destroyed, although due to the sound and the recoil, she wasn't able to open her eyes. By the time she shot for the 4th time, Not only she was able to get used to the sound, but she also managed to get used to the recoil. In the meantime, the explosive sounds attracted the attention of a few people from the mansion. The most important of them is her father, Minister Song Yun, who stared at the weapon in her hands curiously from the balcony of the first floor. "Dear, did you know what that thing in our daughter's hands?" he asked his wife, who also came outside with him, to which she responded with shaking her head, "I'm afraid not." Chapter 6. A bulk purchase. Loading the last bullet into the barrel, the young lady asked the servants to replace the vase, however, not at the same place but 7 meters far. She aimed at it. A look of determination can be seen on this one-circle mage. Meanwhile, her father was watching her, more specifically, the pistol in her hands and the vase. Bang! She pressed the trigger. The bullet cut through the air and struck at the center of the vase, destroying it. Phoo! Placing it vertically near her face, she blew the little smoke coming through the muzzle while keeping the other hand on her waist. Clap, clap, clap. The maids clapped in excitement. "Lady Song, you are amazing. That pose is very cool, Lady Song. Please stay like that." One of the enthusiastic maids who always carry Song Yu's instant camera with her took it out and scurried forward. Song Yu was taken aback, but growing up with her from childhood, she complied with her request and continued to stand there like that. Handing the photograph to her, the maid commented, "That weapon pistol perfectly suited for this pose. Here, take a look, Lady Song." Song Yu looked at herself and was surprised. "Strange, I unknowingly did that. What if I wear a coat and a hat? Will I look cooler?" She couldn't help but fantasize about taking more pictures with this unique weapon before she remembered something. "Oh right. I'm out of bullets. I should visit that store again." With her 2 maids, she left the mansion in the carriage while a guard followed from behind for her safety. Meanwhile, at Genesis, Mark was just blankly staring into space, sighing from time to time. It's been 3 hours and yet, no customer had stepped inside. Neither he knows how to promote business nor does he know how to pass off the idle time. After all, in this world, there are no televisions, smartphones, laptops, or the internet. And with no ability to gather ether, he felt there's no point to train to become stronger either. As for spending time talking, this android assistant of his only knows how to follow the commands, and he couldn't keep his fake personality with the neighbors every single day either. So, Mark continued to create a 9mm bullet every once in a while, slowly stocking up in his system inventory. After all the customers that buy single-shot pistols were sold, everyone will eventually return to his store for the bullets, at least until others started to make it. He doesn't care about such plagiarism, as he will be selling more advanced weapons by the time other weapon shops started to copy his designs. His goal is only to make his store popular like those big 3 weapon stores. Meanwhile, the android, who was just standing there like a puppet, disturbed his work. "Big brother, customers." Mark immediately closed down the holographic screen and looked at them. It was the same beautiful young lady from the previous days. Except that there were 2 more young ladies around the same age instead of that tall young man. He could almost guess what she came for. So, he instantly stood up on his feet and greeted with a smile. "Welcome to Genesis. May I know what you are looking for?" Meanwhile, Song Yu was glancing at the shelves on the wall where there are pistols instead of usual weapons. While Song Yu's eyes fell on the pistols as soon as she stepped inside the shop, the maids look like they are love-struck. "Key! The guys are so handsome." The 2 of them are grinning among themselves while staring at Mark and Alan respectively. Song Yu shook her head with a smile and let them stay on their own while she proceeded towards the counter. "Hello, I'm here to see if your shop has any stock in bullets." Mark nodded, maintaining a bright smile as usual. "Sure, how many do you need?" "Give me 10. "No, 20. "No, 50. She raised 5 fingers. Looking at the bulk order, Mark felt like his lucky days have arrived. "Sure. Each bullet costs 20 silver coins. So, a total of 10 gold coins?" 10 gold? The 2 maids gasped in shock. Working as a maid in the Earl mansion only earns them 3 gold coins per week. And 2 of those pistols? She pointed her finger to the shelves. Each pistol costs 5 gold coins. 2 pistols and 50 bullets. A total of 20 gold coins. Mark's heart was beating rapidly in excitement. Never in the world had he imagined that his business suddenly boomed in one night. 20 gold coins? The maids felt like they were about to even faint, as it was like 6 weeks' salary. Here, Song Yu took out glistening 20 gold coins from her pouch and placed them on the counter. Alan, bring 2 single-shot pistols, Mark ordered the android while taking out 3 empty wooden boxes from the drawer. He slowly started to fill bullets in one of the boxes. Meanwhile, the 3 young ladies were taken aback upon hearing the shop assistant's name. All of them thought it was a strange name. While the 2 maids kept the thoughts to themselves, Song Yu commented her thoughts, to which Mark replied Alan was from a faraway place. Ding! Single-shot pistol has been sold. 4 gold 50 silver coins have been deducted. Ding! Single-shot pistol has been sold. 4 gold 50 silver coins have been deducted. Ding! 50 bullets have been sold. 9 gold coins have been deducted. Feeling pain in his chest due to the deductions, Mark bowed, following this world's etiquette, thank you for the purchase. Please visit again. As each of them took a box, one of the maids asked, excuse me. May I know your name? She seemed to develop a crush on Mark. Upon hearing her question, Song Yu asked in realization, that's right. Yesterday, I forgot to ask your name. Lu Zhen, Mark replied with the name that he was known in this world. Oh. So, it's owner Lu. Nice meeting you. Before she left, Song Yu suggested Mark change the boxes that looked a bit cheap for a unique weapon like this. Mark just smiled but didn't say anything about it because in his eyes this was the most basic weapon. If he would pack a single-shot pistol with a grand one that costs more than 10 silver coins, what he would pack advanced weapons in the future. That's why he decided to stay with the original decision. After she felt with her maids, Mark now looked at the quest list. Okay, 74 gold coins to go to unlock the system store. Half an hour later, Song Manor. Milord, a middle-aged man kneeled before Song Yun. This was the same hidden guard that followed Song Yu for protection. Tell me, what is it? Song Yuan asked him. The hidden guard reported the matter to the minister, to which the latter fell into deep thoughts. So, he doesn't only have one of them. Having more than 20 of them means they are manufactured somewhere. After thinking for a long time, he ordered, I need you to investigate the background of the store. I also need to know where they get those unique weapons from. Do whatever methods you have to use, but my identity should be kept secret, understand? Yes, milord. After dismissing the guard, Song Yun took out one of the destroyed bullets that were collected earlier. This isn't iron or steel. I wonder what this metal is. Chapter 7.1 Lin Shui's Hunting Trip, Part 1. Just like the Song clan, the Nai clan is considered one of the 12 major noble clans in the Phoenix Empire and is one of the 6 noble clans that reside within the Imperial City and is responsible for 6 ministries. The only difference between them is that the Song clan oversees the Ministry of Public Works while the Nai clan oversees the Ministry of Revenue. Usually, the emperor should favor the current head of the Nai clan and the Minister of Revenue, Nai Ruogang, but with Song Yun's maternal cousin being the commander of the army, the current situation was in the Song clan's favor. The officials cozy up to Song Yun, supporting him in every scheme that he presents in front of the emperor. Due to such reason, Nai clan is always in odds with Song clan in everything they do and try to cause trouble regarding taxes. And if that wasn't enough, 1 year ago, the Minister of Law and Justice, Zhong Lei, got his eldest son engaged to Song Yu. This marriage alliance between the 2 clans caused worry in other clans, including the 3 royal princes who don't want the 3rd prince to gather too much support. Crown Prince Manor, Imperial City. Nai Ruogang, elders from Zhu and Han clans, a couple of generals, and a few other higher officials were invited to a feast held by Prince Shangzishi. As the emperor is getting older, the crown prince is trying to make sure to keep maximum support behind him and at the same time, sabotaging the plans of his brothers and their supporters. While he's in the middle of a discussion of creating a trap for the Zhong clan, a servant of him handed him a piece of paper while whispering something. As soon as he read the letter, his facial expression changed. Your Highness, is everything all right? Nai Ruogang asked him. Just then, Shangzishi broke out into a smile. Everything is all right. I need you to talk about something, later. The moment Nai Ruogang saw the smile on the crown prince, he understood it is a piece of good news. But since Shangzishi isn't intending to say it in public, it must be top confidential information that the prince doesn't want to leak out. So, he didn't probe it further and accepted the prince's command. One by one, the guests left the building. Only the crown prince and the minister of revenue are present. Brother Nai, there's a piece of information regarding my third brother. He's going out on a private hunting trip with Zhong Kong, Song Yu, and Lin Wuing's daughter. That brat must be trying to woo her to acquire the Lin clan's support. Aichambif. Nai Ruogang's facial expression turned serious. Our clan is at your service. Please state your order, your highness. Just need a little bit of your help. Shu sect will take care of the rest. The crown prince then explained his plan. After hearing everything, Nai Ruogang clenched his fist, trying to calm down his excitement. For the past year, Nai Ruogang was waiting for a chance to foil this alliance. Now, it seemed like the apple itself fell on his lap without the need to climb the tree. How could he let the chance away? He wants to take advantage of this situation and assassinate both of them. With the death of the third prince, no one would think that he's the one behind it. 1 week later, a team of 8 entered the forest of Bloodhill, the homeland of werewolves, wild boars, giant bears, and so on. This tropical forest that lies on the northern part of the Phoenix Empire constantly acted as a barrier for tiny southern empires against the invincible empire of Leon that rules most of the central part of the continent. It practically divides the southern part of the vermilion-bird continent from the north. Due to the forest spanning more than 15 million square kilometers that was filled with even 8 circle beast, the northern kingdoms and empire never dared to even cross over, much less invading the southern kingdoms and empires. The only way for the northerners to come down is by flying. Because of the dangers, no normal person would ever dare to go on such a journey. If one doesn't want to face danger, they can only go around and travel for thousands of kilometers to reach the south. Still, this dangerous forest was always packed with adventurers as it was abundant in ether crystals which will be helpful to improve one's ether energy. Some adventurers go hunting down the monsters and man-eating trees as their corpses can be used as a material for graded weapons, pills, elixirs, etc. A team of 10 entered the forest. 4 of them wore standard gold-grade armor and weapons. Every one of the soldiers is at least a 4-circle warrior. They were escorting Song Yu, her 2 maids, her fiancé Zhong Kong, her best friend Lin Shui, and the third prince Shang Wei. Their purpose is neither the corpses nor the ether crystals. It was only to hunt down the beasts for fun. And at the same time, the third prince also wanted to woo the daughter of Lin Wuing, who is serving as the Minister of Personnel. With the Lin clan holding the power to control the appointments of the officials excluding the military, once the third prince marries this Lin clan's heiress, he would be able to manipulate the system to his will and might even become the emperor. However, the third prince didn't have that kind of intention at all. He was just in love with her while the latter disdains him, mainly because of his average appearance. Despite knowing that looks were the #1 priority for her, Shang Wei still was hoping to impress her with his strength. The forest was divided into several sectors on a scale of 9 to 0, with the outermost 3 layers considered less dangerous and almost safe for those who are below 4 circle. Right now, the third prince and his acquaintances entered Sector 9, where the area almost seems devoid of monsters and ether crystals as many adventures explore in the region. After walking for several hours, they entered Sector 8. After a long walk, the third prince said that they will take a rest. As the soldiers set up the tent, he spread the map on the ground. If I'm not wrong, soon, we will enter this area. Festhorn? Lin clan's princess frowned as she read the name written on the map. Isn't this place full of wild boars? I thought we are going to Nerwi to hunt down the goblins. Chapter 8.2, Lin Shui's Hunting Trip, Part 2. The cold beauty eyed him suspiciously. If not for the fact that there's a 5-circle spirit warrior of the assassin path was following her in secret under her father's order, she would have even rejected such a hunting trip. After all, she doesn't trust the third prince. So, instead of just keeping the doubt to herself, Lin Shui directly confronted him. In response, the prince chuckled, "We are going to Nerwi after my business is finished." Business? Along with Lin Shui, the other 2 also turned their heads towards him. While the handmaids of Song Yu kept quiet, they too glanced at the prince from the corner of their eyes. All of them were curious as to what does the prince has business in a region that is considered a wasteland for ether crystals. Only people who wanted to capture wild boars and warthogs go to Festhorn. Feeling the gazes on him, the third prince smiled mysteriously. All of you will be surprised when we get there. Just trust me and follow. Everyone looked at each other for a moment before Lin Shui shrugged her shoulders. Fine. I hope you won't waste my time. After an hour of rest, the team continued their journey. Soon, they met two warthogs that are roaming around. As soon as they smelled the scent of humans, the two beasts rushed towards the team. As the soldiers raised their swords, the third prince raised his hand. Move. Heeding the order, the soldiers moved aside. He then conjured a fireball on his palm. After it became as big as the size of a cannonball, he threw it at one of the incoming beasts. As the fireball hit the warthog, the latter was blasted away and crashed onto the tree. The second didn't care about its acquaintance as it rushed towards its prey. HMPF, livestock. The third prince once again started to summon a fireball. However, this one was twice bigger than the last. Just as it was about to form completely, suddenly, a slender back of a familiar girl appeared in his sight. The girl swung a sword and cleanly cleaved its body vertically into two parts. The warthog that just stood on its feet appeared scared at the moment. It turned around and started to run. However, before it even made a step forward, Lin Shui already covered the distance between them and killed it with one swing. Putting the sword back to the sheath, she returned to the team. Oh! That's amazing, Sister Shui. Song Yu's eyes lit up in excitement as she saw such an amazing feat. Indeed, she isn't called a genius swordmaster for nothing. Zhong Kong also nodded in agreement, well, at least on the outside. However, inside, he was deeply ashamed. Both of them are at the Circle 3 realm and yet, he felt like there's a huge difference between their combat capabilities. In the meantime, Shang Wei dismissed the fireball and commented, "You are fast, Lin Shui. More like you are too slow." Lin Shui commented coldly as she stopped beside Song Yu. "I'm a mage. What do you expect?" The third prince mumbled to himself. In fact, the third prince was strong enough to kill it in one move. After all, he's a mage with destructive power. However, the drawback is that the mage skills take too much time to be unleashed, unlike the melee warriors. The higher the destruction level, the more it consumes ether energy as well as time. The team proceeded to walk further deep into the forest under the lead of the third prince. On the way, they have met with various Circle 2 wild boars and warthogs, but Lin Shui took care of them all without giving a chance to either the soldiers or her fellow nobles. She felt like these actions of hers will hurt the pride of the prince, but on the contrary, the third prince was only enamored with her further. He was now more determined to make her his. After hours of walking, the group of 10 reached some kind of ruins. There are damaged concrete houses and broken statues everywhere. I have heard that the emperors used to banish the people to this forest when this entire southern land is ruled by ancient Xia dynasty. Zhong Kong commented as he opened the fan, looking around the houses. The third prince nodded and then looked at his crush. "What do you know about the last emperor of Xia, Lin Shui?" Lin Shui nodded. "Of course. It said that Emperor Xia Jie was extremely corrupt in nature and is said to be the most reckless emperor in history. He is said to be lived a lavish lifestyle and treated his people as slaves. His style of ruling was filled with sex, luxury, and entertainment. If the commoners disobey his order, he would punish them to death. If the nobles disobey his order, depending on his mood, he would either send them to the dungeons or exile them to this forest. If his vassals disobey his order, he wouldn't hesitate to destroy their kingdoms. With the support of 6 clans, King Shang Yating rebelled against the Xia dynasty. It took 20 long years for the Shang clan to gather a majority of the support and overthrew Emperor Jie and later, founded the Phoenix Empire, bringing peace to the land. Those people who are exiled or escaped to the forest formed several human settlements until one day Emperor Shang Yating managed to abolish the act of exiling to the forest. The successful rulers made everyone abandon the towns and migrated back to the empire. Yes. The prince nodded with a smile. But there are a few important things that weren't recorded in the history, well, at least for the public. Recently, I acquired an ancient parchment from 18th century before the era of ether. He took out a parchment made out from some unknown skin. One of my servants accidentally found this in the hands of a skeleton when he was exploring a cave. Everyone's interest was piqued as soon as they heard about a 3,500-year-old parchment. However, to their disappointment, he put it back into the pocket, not intending to show the contents. Shang Wei then continued, "It is stated that the rulers of Xia dynasty originally sent people to the forest after one found a bunch of scarlet crystals which upon contact, one would absorb the energy into their body and die." Even the soldiers who are putting up a poker face from the start seemed surprised after hearing his story. Lin Shui was also no exception to it either. "Do you mean?" The third prince nodded with a smile, "Yes. They found the ether crystals." "But, how's that possible?" Song Yu expressed her confusion. She was clearly in disbelief. Zhong Kong also voiced his suspicion. The presence of the ether crystals and the emergence of the first spirit warrior have been known only for 1,786 years. Our current timeline is called Era of Ether and the timeline is called for a reason. The third prince shrugged his shoulders. "Well, it seems the ether crystals have been founded long ago, unlike we imagined. But, what does this parchment have to do with this place?" Lin Shui frowned as she looked around. For her, everything seemed normal. "There are no caves nearby to think there's a crystal mine here either. I said there were a few important things that were hidden from the public, didn't I?" A mysterious smile appeared on the third prince. "This is the hideout of Xia Jie before he died of old age." "What?" Chapter 9.3, Lin Shui's Hunting Trip, Part 3. Hideout of Emperor Jie. Everyone was taken aback by the explanation. "Brother Wei, wasn't Emperor Jie killed by the founder in the battle?" Song Yu looked at him in disbelief. The history books clearly recorded the battle between the unified forces against Xia where their leader, Shang Yating beheaded Xia Jie and brought peace to the land. Zhong Kong and Lin Shui also couldn't believe what they were hearing. "Does that imply that the history has been altered by your ancestors?" Lin Shui's impression of Shang Wei had further fallen. The third prince let out a sigh. "It appears so." He didn't continue the conversation for a while as he was also disappointed by this fact. After all, if an important piece of history has been altered in the recordings, that would mean there would be a lot of things that must have been altered too. So, does this place have some kind of treasures or something? After a brief silence, Song Yu attempted to continue the conversation as no one is speaking up. The third prince nodded in response but didn't explain further. As his mood was disturbed by Lin Shui's reminder, he didn't want to go on with this topic any longer. After walking for a while, they reached some kind of large podium with pillars around it. Not only the pillars were completely intact, but they also have identical statues constructed on top of them. The statue resembled a creature of myth with the head of a man, the body of a lion, and a tail of a scorpion. In the middle of the podium, there is a passage that was leading to the underground. Around the entrance, there are several large stones around the entrance of the stairs, which suggested they might be the debris of the sealed entrance caused by an explosion. However, everyone's attention wasn't on those structures but was on the 3 dead soldiers. The prince and the others rushed towards them. "Your Highness." Suddenly, one of the supposed dead soldiers opened his eyes and stood up in great difficulty. "What happened?" A deep frown appeared on Shang Wei. The soldier hurriedly replied, "Your Highness, Captain Hu Jing abandoned his duty." He then recounted the story of how the captain of their squad killed them after they found the entrance of the underground labyrinth. Thankfully, my act of playing dead fooled him. Kowtowing on the spot, he then begged for mercy for not being able to fulfill his duties. Upon hearing everything, Shang Wei got enraged. "How dare he? Where is that traitor, now?" The soldier answered that his captain was still underground and hadn't come out yet. "You and you, guard the entrance. The remaining 2 will come with me to apprehend that traitor." After giving the orders to his soldiers, he looked at his friends. "Captain Hu Jing is a Circle 4 mage. So, I think all of you should stay here for your safety." Lin Shui snorted in response as she folds her hands to the chest. "I alone am enough to." Except that he knew about arrival. The third prince cut off her words in a serious tone. As this is a matter concerning life and death, he didn't intend to act all strong to impress her. Looking at her, Shang Wei further said, "A prepared magician is the most dangerous. Even a higher realm spirit warrior couldn't act recklessly in front of them. If something happens to you on my watch, I wouldn't able to lift my head in front of your father ever again." So, Lady Lin, I ask you to please stay with the guards. While the seriousness on his face indeed surprised Lin Shui, this stubborn girl was never the type to back off from the danger either. She stepped forward towards the entrance. If that's the case, then, these two will be the witness. I'm making my own choice. Either I will go to the underground labyrinth or I will return to the Imperial City. Staring at him into the eyes, she then asked, "What do you want me to do?" Shang Wei knew her personality very well. He felt like if he didn't allow her, there's a high chance that he will be losing her forever. So, the prince was left with no choice but to support her decision. As Song Yu and her handmaids were pretty much defenseless against such a powerful enemy, they stayed outside. Zhong Kong was also forced to stay outside to accompany his fiancée. After a few moments, a man in black robes and hood appeared before the group, scaring the hell out of everyone. The two royal knights that were left outside immediately withdrew their weapons. Zhong Kong quickly stood before his fiancée to shield her. Song Yu then concentrated on the spatial ring she was wearing. Pouring the ether energy into it, she summoned two boxes out of thin air. One of them carried 3 pistols and the other one is loaded with bullets. Zhu Bai, Yin Bo, take one each and be ready just in case. As the handmaids and Song Yu took a pistol and loaded a bullet for their safety, Zhong Kong was taken aback. My beloved, when did you buy them? A smile appeared on Song Yu as she caressed her pistol, a week ago. Even in this past week, I visited that store a couple of more times to buy bullets. Dear, this weapon is really addictive once you get familiar with shooting the targets. It's really fun. Well, it is still an ungraded weapon. Zhong Kong shrugged his shoulders. Even though he was impressed with its firepower, it was still only useful to weaklings like his fiancée. In the meantime, at the entrance of the stairs, the Royal Knight of Circle 5 Realm pointed the sword at him. The entrance has been sealed. You cannot go inside. Leave. Without showing his face, the hooded assassin threw a medallion towards the Royal Knight. Upon seeing the symbol of a unicorn, he apologized and stepped aside. The hooded man disappeared and then reappeared at the top of the stairs. He once again disappeared from everyone's sight. Meanwhile, Shang Wei, Lin Shui, and 2 soldiers of the Circle 4 Realm reached the bottom of the stairs. With the third prince being a fire mage, the group of 4 didn't face any issues with the darkness around them. After walking straight for a few minutes, everyone stopped. Now, what? Lin Shui asked the prince as she saw there were numerous tunnels ahead of them. Let's not separate. Shang Wei was cautious, not intending to underestimate the traitor. 2 hours later, the group of 4 reached the entrance of the tunnels. Not again. Lin Shui complained as she kicked the wall in anger. How many times it has been? There are so many tunnels here. So, I guess it is possible for them to be interconnected. I know that. She shouted at him, which made him shut his mouth for a while. After a brief silence, the prince asked in a slow tone, "Are you going to continue?" "Giving up isn't in my nature." Lin Shui started walking in another random tunnel. The prince followed her from behind. Unlike the other tunnels, this tunnel turned out to be a straight one. They walked for half an hour and halted their steps upon hearing the sounds from up ahead. Soon, they reached the entrance. A battle was going on between a giant snake and a familiar fellow. A guardian beast. Shang Wei's eyes flickered in surprise. Chapter 10.4, Lin Shui's Hunting Trip, Part 4. A giant cobra and a middle-aged man in armor were locked in a battle. Even though the beast was heavily injured, it didn't care about its state and was continuously spitting out flames while guarding the giant treasure chest standing at one of the corners. For the past 3 days, Hu Jing kept on challenging the 4-circle realm beast that can't leave the cave. Whenever he felt like he would lose, he would run out of the cave and challenge it again after recovering his ether energy. With the beast getting weaker every time, he grew confident in defeating it. Just when he thought he would finally slay this beast and acquire the treasure, Captain Hu Jing spotted the prince and the guards at the entrance. His chest tightened all of a sudden. Believing his subordinates were dead, he took a deep breath and calmed down. Your Highness. He then cried out as if he was happy to see him. Jumping to the side and dodging the flames, he further said, "The treasure is behind this beast. Come and help me out, Dao Fu, Zhen Song." As he asked the help of the royal knights standing beside Lin Shui and Shang Wei, the prince gave a look at them and nodded. They too nodded, indicating that they understood the gesture and entered the cave. With 3 warriors in a 4-circle realm attacking a heavily injured rank 5 beast, the snake was fallen very quickly, but it didn't die yet. Just as one of the soldiers about to give the finishing blow, the prince stopped them. Amid the curious gazes from everyone including Lin Shui, he took out an ancient tome from his storage ring. After turning several pages, he started to read an incantation in a language unknown to the people around him. His ether energy was almost consumed in the process. As the incantation was finished, 5 red chains with an anchor as its heads were released from his upper body and pierced the fallen giant cobra, one by one. After 5 successive hits, energy started to flow into his body through the chains from the fallen snake. As time passed, the giant cobra started to become thinner and thinner. Soon, all of its life force seeped away, and half an hour later, its core was destroyed, leading to its death. In the meantime, not only the ether energy of the third prince was recovered, but he also broke through and entered the 4-circle realm. After the whole process was over, the third prince opened his eyes and nodded with a smile as he was satisfied with the result. Good, I received an abundant amount of ether particles. I'm now halfway through 4-circle. Once I stabilize in this realm, I should use ether crystals and break through the next realm before 26th birthday. While Lin Shui was curious about this mysterious book, she didn't express her curiosity as she wanted to stay away from Shang Wei. Meanwhile, Hu Jing was feeling disappointed now that he couldn't claim the treasure. Still, he displayed excitement on the outside. Your Highness, the treasure. We'll get it to it, Captain Hu Jing. But before that, we should decide on your punishment for killing fellow soldiers and betraying the Empire. The prince maintained a bright smile while announcing his death sentence. You know the punishment, don't you? Even Li Shui could feel the anger in his tone. She stepped away from him, leaving to his own. From the start, she never intended to involve in this matter as it has nothing to do with her. She only entered because she believed that she wasn't that weak that she had to stay outside under the protection of Prince's guards. What are you talking about, Your Highness? Captain Hu Jing stuttered upon hearing the prince. I have no idea what you are talking about. The prince suddenly turned cold as he couldn't maintain the fake expression anymore. He clenched his fist in anger and spoke. One of the 3 soldiers that you attacked managed to stay alive. It's over, Hu Jing. Surrender yourself and return to the imperial city with us. I will make sure to at least pardon your death sentence and reduce it to 20 years of imprisonment. With being surrounded by everyone, Hu Jing didn't see any ways to escape. So, he kneeled down in front of the prince and begged for mercy. He promised that he will follow him to the court and accept the punishment. As he couldn't use the tome for some time and neither of the royal knights possesses any spirit skills to capture him, Shang Wei concentrated on the storage ring and took out a rope that he uses for climbing. Hu Jing's upper body was tied with the rope with his hands to back. Well, let's get the treasure. Shang Wei walked towards the treasure chest. Lin Shui quietly followed him. Inwardly, she wanted to see what kind of treasure it is. However, to her surprise, Shang Wei didn't touch the box that looked like a treasure chest. Instead, he took out the parchment from the storage ring and carefully read it once again while placing his hand on the wall behind the treasure chest. Nothing happened. He moved his hand and placed his hand at another place on the wall. Nothing happened again. According to this letter, it must be somewhere here. The third prince was confused. Watching the third prince kept touching the wall, Lin Shui opened her mouth in annoyance. What are you doing? Looking for the entrance, he ambiguously replied and continued his act. Lin Shui didn't understand what he was saying. What entrance? Aren't we here for Emperor Jie's treasure? Isn't that the chest? No, that's a trap. Shang Wei immediately replied. Turning his head with a smile, this document warned to not open the chest or else an area-wide 5-circle spell will be released. Click. Right then, his hand unknowingly touched the right spot coincidentally and a part of the wall started to back off, revealing a brightly lit cave within. Even from far away, Lin Shui could see the several ether crystals embedded on the ground and wall. A hidden crystal mine. Lin Shui's eyes widened as she followed the third prince into the cave.